Beneath the calm, shimmering waters of the Strait of Hormuz, a silent and potentially devastating threat is raising alarms across the globe. This narrow passage, often overlooked by the average observer, has become one of the most dangerous flashpoints in modern geopolitics. So, what's really happening beneath the surface? The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most critical energy corridors, responsible for transporting nearly 20% of global oil supply. Any disruption here doesn't just affect the Middle East, it sends shockwaves through global markets from the United States to Europe and beyond. To understand the gravity of the situation, we need to look at the timeline. Tensions in this region have been building for years. From naval confrontations to tanker seizures, the waterway has seen repeated incidents involving Iran and Western powers, particularly the United States. In recent months, intelligence reports suggest an increased presence of underwater mines, unmanned submersible drones, and covert surveillance systems, raising fears of a hidden maritime conflict. Now, data is beginning to confirm those fears. According to defense analysts, over 30% of recent maritime security alerts in the region involve suspected underwater threats. Insurance costs for oil tankers passing through the strait have surged by more than 25%, reflecting growing uncertainty. Meanwhile, satellite monitoring and naval patrols have intensified, indicating that global powers are taking this threat very seriously. Political reactions have been swift and sharply divided. Officials in the United States have warned that any attempt to disrupt freedom of navigation will be met with decisive action. On the other side, Iran has repeatedly denied deploying offensive underwater systems, instead accusing Western forces of escalating tensions in the region. International organizations, including the United Nations, have called for restraint, urging all parties to avoid actions that could trigger a wider conflict. So, what does this mean for the future? In the short term, heightened military presence is likely to continue, increasing the risk of miscalculation. A single incident, whether accidental or intentional, could disrupt global oil supplies and send prices soaring overnight. In the long run, experts warn that continued instability in the Strait of Hormuz could force nations to rethink energy routes, accelerate alternative supply chains, and even reshape global energy dependence. But beyond the strategy and statistics, there's a human impact. Rising oil prices affect everything, from transportation costs to food prices, impacting millions of households worldwide. For those living in the region, the threat is even more immediate, as the risk of conflict looms just beneath the surface. This is not just a regional issue, it's a global concern. As the waters of the Strait of Hormuz remain tense and uncertain, the world watches closely, aware that what lies beneath could shape the future above. Stay informed, stay aware.